Greetings. My name is, well, let me start off real quick. Are everybody ready here? Yes? Okay, good. Greetings. My name is Eric Gutierrez. I'm with the National Transportation Safety Board. Before we get started with the interview here, I'd like to take a quick moment and just offer my condolences to the family and friends of the deceased. So just take a quick moment here and pause for a second before we continue on and do some more introductions with the investigative team. So first of all, let me start off by introducing the investigative team. So with the local law enforcement here, we have Captain Simmons with the Newberg Police Department. We also have Captain Assistant Chief Fail, correct, with the TVFNR. And the reason why I like to have identify everybody here as well is simply because the accident investigation of an aircraft is not just a solo parties. We have numerous parties, members that are a part of the investigation. So let's start off with a quick background as far as from the local law enforcement of what happened, how they got notified, and what their response is coming out here, and then we'll move over to the local chief. Okay, sir?
My name is Ryan Simmons, captain with Newberg Police. So just before 7 last night, we received reports to the Newberg Dundee Police Dispatch that there was a plane that crashed. Initial reports weren't accurate as to where it was located originally. We were able to we received multiple 911 calls. Finally able to locate it on Cedar Street, crashed into a residence. We responded to take control of the scene security. As TVFNR arrived and started to do rescue efforts, our role kind of shifted just to that security. As we did learn that at least one person was discovered deceased within the plane, our role kind of shifted to using our medical legal death investigators. These folks are officers that are certified through the state and the county to investigate deaths. So that became our sole role. As we worked through that extraction of those individuals, we learned that there was a second person that was discovered inside the plane deceased. We did release those names about a half an hour ago, so that information is out there. So yeah, that's basically our role at this point. The case will be referred to the medical examiner's office, the district attorney's office. Both of them have jurisdiction over that investigation, ultimately to determine cause and manner of death. At this point, it's unknown. That's going to be a process before we have that information.
Can you say those names?
I can, sure. 20-year-old Barrett Bivacqua of Hillsborough, 22-year-old McKelly Cavallati, and 20-year-old Emily Hurd was the surviving victim of that crash.
And then we're seeing Italian news agencies report that Michele is an Italian national. Can you guys confirm if that's true?
That's the information we're receiving now. We haven't, information from the family. Also from the Hillsborough Aero Academy, where he was a flight instructor. We've received that information as well, yes.
Chief, why don't you tell us a little bit about the process of recovering the surviving occupant and stuff like that. Why don't you tell us about what happened there when you guys arrived?
Okay, sure. My name's Patrick Fail. I'm the Assistant Chief for Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. Our crews were notified of a possible aircraft down shortly before 7 o'clock last night in and around the area of Cedar Street here in Newberg. We initially responded with 4 engine companies, 2 ladder trucks, our heavy rescue, as well as multiple other companies from other agencies, including Dayton and Dundee Fire. Initial crews found a plane down in the back of a house with potential victims inside. We started a rapid extrication of one surviving victim out of that, and they were flown to OHSU via Lifeline. At that point, we worked closely with our partners with Newberg Dundee Police and also the NTSB to coordinate the extrication of the non-surviving victims.
Your station is just down the street. How much does that proximity, that time, play into account when there's a survivor in this crash?
It was very rapid response. We We're slowed just slightly in getting an exact location, which Newberg Dundee Police really helped us zero that in.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, so what we do know at this time is that the accident occurred at about 6:47 local time. It was a tail number for this is November 8360K as in kilo, which is a Piper PA 44180, better known as a Piper Seminole. It impacted a residential structure towards the back of a house, and at this time it is undetermined as to why. I can tell you that the flight was an accident flight, and as my colleagues have said, there's 3 occupants on board the airplane. One of them was a flight instructor, one of them was a pilot-rated student seeking his multi-engine rating. And then the passenger sitting in the back seat it is being reported that the passenger was also pilot rated and was potentially going to start a multi-engine course with the flight school. So there was a flight instructor on board the airplane at the time of the accident. The airplane impacted the rear of the house, and it came to rest in a nose-low attitude with substantial damage to the front portions of the airplane. Okay, so that's what we know so far. The investigative process is ongoing. It is multi-phased, being we are in the fact-finding phase at this time. We are going to be gathering as much possible information as possible, such as gathering weather information. Was weather a factor? We're going to be taking a look at the airplane itself. We're going to be looking at airplane maintenance records. Was there a potential was there any kind of mechanical anomalies that would have precluded normal operations? So that means we're going to recover the airplane, have it secured at a facility, and we'll be doing a more thorough examination of the airplane. Now, that is scheduled to take place later on this afternoon. We will also go into all of the pilot records of all of the occupants. We'll take a look at a prior experience and everything that goes forward from there. So it's basically a process of gathering all the information that is applicable or that is available for us. Now, that being said, I know that there's a lot of videos out there right now. And what I would like to do is, if there's anybody that has visually saw it or has videos of the event, please contact the NTSB at witness@ntsb.gov. Again, that is witness@ntsb.gov. Please provide us any information you have. We are more than receptive to capturing any information we can at this time. Additionally, we will be co-working with the FAA to gather flight track information, whether that be radar or ADSB information for the flight track, so we can potentially gather additional information going forward. So what that boils down to is, again, the NTSB has a lot of partners going forward, working with first responders, working with the FAA to try to determine the probable cause of the accident. Does that make sense? Any questions so far, folks?
Because this was part of a school, will the training program be under investigation?
Ma'am, everything. We're going to be looking at everything. It's not solely focused on any singular point. So please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Is everything, we're looking at everything. Flight training programs, experience of the pilots, what was going on with the flight track information. So, and I'm trying not to go down any one specific thing. We try to gather as much data as we can going forward. Does that make sense, ma'am? Sure.
And then I believe I heard you say that this was an accidental flight path. What does that mean?
Accidental flight path.
I don't know if I heard that correctly. There's something accidental flight path. I don't know if I heard that
The
correctly.
flight track information. Maybe I misspoke.
Okay.
So what we do is, we have radar. Okay, so we have primary radar, which is, it goes back to essentially what we initially developed. And it sounds exactly like it is. There's a radar that captures initial targets, and it comes back to a radar station. And then we have additional flight track information that is such as ADSB, and that will give us a lot more information. That'll give, hopefully, that the flight track information from the ADSB will capture airspeeds, altitudes, which is a lot more descriptive in some cases. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully that cleared that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
With websites like FlightAware out there, people log on, they check the flight path of this plane specifically, and it shows that going in a circle, that kind of thing. What is your take on that? How do you think the public should look at things like FlightAware?
Super excited you asked that question. So the FlightAware and other various flight track programs, they're great. They're absolutely fantastic. However, we use the official sources. So with that being said, and let me give you a little bit of background information on that. So FlightAware and other programs like that, or other web sources like that, they have little transponders that are basically out in different locations. They capture airplane information, and that is so the quality of the products vary quite substantially. Okay, so what we end up having to do, what we do is we utilize certified programs, processes, which is certified through the FAA, and we utilize that data. Does that make sense, sir? So is that data correct? It could be. It very well could be. At this stage, we are in the fact-finding phase of the investigation, so we look for that data except from certified sources. Does that make sense, sir? Okay.
Was there a distress call made to any of the airports here in the Tualatin Valley by chance by this aircraft?
Sir, at this time, that is unknown. And we will be looking for that information, again, through the FAA and through our other partners as well. Okay?
Sometimes in flight training, there's maneuvers like stalling, not engine stalls, but practicing coming out of a stall. Is that something that has a role in flight training? Is that something you're looking at?
Yes, sir. We look at, again, as I said earlier, we look at all phases of flight. And this was an instructional flight. So potentially, they could have been doing a maneuver. At this point, we just don't know. And a stall maneuver is a commonly practiced maneuver through the certification of pilots. So, and the intent behind that is if there is an unintentional stall, the pilot will know how to recover from it correctly and promptly going forward. So, long-winded answer is, could they have been doing a stall or maneuver? Sure, they sure could have. But at this stage, do we know? No, we do not. So let me kind of wrap this up. At this phase, what we're going to be doing this afternoon is we are going to be recovering the airplane. It's going to be recovered to a secure facility. We're going to be doing a more thorough investigation of the airplane to determine if there was any mechanical malfunctions with the airplane. If they were, we will follow those down and look for potential mechanical reasons. We will then finish developing the factual stage. Then we will start into the analysis stage and finish wrapping up the report. At this stage in the game, our reports are taking anywhere between 18 to 24 months at this time, from start to finish to completion for final publication.
I'm sure the public's wondering why 18 to 24 months? Why it takes so long?
That's a great question. So because we have such a great depth of information that we have to collect and analyze to include determining what the cause of death was. Not necessarily us per se as the NTSB, but there's a series of reports that go along with it, and those take time. And to do a thorough investigation, we want to make sure we cover all facets of the accident, not just any one single point.
And I have a question for Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. We're chatting with some firefighters earlier this morning, and they stopped by to kind of see the wreckage and learn from it. So in these situations, how do you guys learn about search and rescue and extracting potential victims out of terrible crashes like this?
Yeah, our crews are extensively trained in mechanical extrication of victims, whether it be a vehicle, an aircraft, or inside of a structure. And that's infused in their initial training in the academy and then ongoing training throughout their careers. We also have a specialty rescue team that's housed out at Tigard that provides a higher level of those rescue capabilities in those situations.
Sorry if I'm making you repeat yourself, but can you tell us again how exactly you were able to locate where this was?
Yeah, really our PD partners found it first, and they got our crews. They relayed through their dispatch center, which talked to our dispatch center and got our crews right on top of them. Yeah.
share as far as how you narrowed that down?
I mean, it was originally reported in the area of the Allison Hotel, then by the high school, and eventually a neighbor called in and reported that it was the exact location of where it occurred. But